Hello and welcome to The Spirit Safe. My name's Rob. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Mid-April 2020. We are still in lockdown right now. Hair's looking a bit long. Tempers are starting to get a bit frayed. Working from home with a 4-year-old. But yeah, we're still alive. We're happy. This will probably go out in June, so things may be different by then. But one thing I decided I needed to do early in this quarantine was to pick up a reasonably priced whiskey because nobody's feeling particularly wealthy when there's a recession on the way. So I decided to go for the Teeling small batch Irish whiskey, which is a blended Irish whiskey finished in rum casks. And what really drew my attention to this is the bottling strength and presentation. Non-chill filtered, natural colour, and bottled at 46% ABV. Beat that with a stick. Not many blended Irish whiskies with that presentation, and it cost me under 60 Canadian dollars in BC. It was on offer. I think normally it sells for 60, 61, 63, and I got it for maybe 59 or something. So it wasn't a massive reduction, but still it was under 60 Canadian, which there aren't many whiskies of any, certainly Scotch whiskies at 46% that you can pick up for less than $60 at BC Liquor. I'd be surprised if there are any. So Teeling, small distillery in Dublin. They're not currently selling any of their own whiskey. They are sourcing, the Teeling family, who used to own the Cooley distillery, are sourcing whiskey from Cooley. I don't know whether they're blending it themselves or they're sourcing it as a blend, and they are aging it in their own warehouse. And this has had 6 months finish in an ex-rum cask, so that should be interesting. Lots of vanilla and spice going on there. And the rum cask really is asserting itself. It's a young whiskey. It doesn't bear an age statement. And the youth, together with that the additional alcohol note, it's oaky. It's spicy, grainy, young and quite bold, but a pleasant alcohol note to it. The rum finish, I think, is invigorating. It takes that high ABV a little bit further. There's a sweet oak, fresh ginger, a dry oak as well, a biting oak. Rye bread, lemon, citronella. Vanilla and butterscotch, but a grainy, brash nose with that additional sweetness and additional oaky kick. Means that this is an interesting one. On the palate, dry and spicy. Big pinch of tobacco as you swallow, but the rum and the alcohol note definitely carries nicely. It's sweet, full mouthfeel, nutty, lots of desiccated coconut, vanilla. There were these cinnamon candies that we used to buy that were very hot, and they were called atomic fireballs. They were made in Italy, and they were really lovely. I used to enjoy those. You didn't find them often, but when I did, I was very excited to find them. A lot of that atomic fireball Candied and fresh ginger, a bit of honey at the back, and definitely some maple syrup. Fruity, kind of dry. Thought I'd have another cheeky sip then. Let's give it a fair dose of water. You're dealing with a youngish whiskey, so a full teaspoon. Those dry spices, spice rack notes, Chinese 5-spice coming through. Dried ginger, dried what are they called now? Dried coriander seeds. Lots more vanilla, a dryish American oak, lemon. Starts to take on a little bit of a perfume note as well. And the palate, a little bit of water just really does lift it. Maple syrup, spices, sweetened over stewed tea, toffee and fudge really starts to come alive with the water, and occasionally it just absolutely bursts with tropical fruit and vanilla. But it doesn't do that all the time. It needs a lot of time in the glass, and you have to really experiment with the amount of water, but sometimes it just really does burst with fruit in such an unexpected way. Buttery, creamy notes start to come through, Irish cereals. The finish, rum, the rum cask really asserts itself on the finish. Vanilla, grains, verdant notes. With the water, occasionally you get a really nice sourness moving on to the finish. Rosemary and other herbs. Mix of alcohols, so you're getting the kind of the sugar cane, the cane alcohol of the rum cask, as well as the grainy alcohol of the whiskey. I haven't explained that very well, but it's kind of, it feels almost like the rum cask hasn't just aged the whiskey, it's almost like it's added an additional alcohol dimension to it. Rum and raisin, and a sour sort of pineapple also. So this is very, very good. For 60 Canadian dollars, it's an absolute steal. Really good quarantine dram, because it's just kind of an all-rounder in some ways. Yes, it's young, but it sort of wears its heart on its sleeve. I can't get any other Teeling products in BC at the moment, but I feel like I didn't get to them soon enough, and as soon as I see anything else by Teeling, for example a pot still whiskey or a single malt or single grain, I would grab it. And this is the absolute beginning of their range. I'm excited for the stuff that they're going to produce in their own distillery, but I wouldn't hesitate to try some of the other sourced items. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the review. Like, comment and subscribe, and hope to see you again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.